putting an end to identity politics. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Kevin Jackson here. It's the Kevin Jackson Show, KJRadio.com. I have a story for you. That's right, particularly if you are in the business of doing anything with guns, I have a story that is going to excite you. That's right. You remember Obama had this deal where it was called Operation Checkpoint. And it was meant to cripple the gun industry. Now, it caught a lot of other people, too. And this will crack you up a little bit, but it kind of caught the ladies of the evening, which, by the way, there are boys of the evening, too. Call girls, call boys, things like that. I didn't say cowboys and cowgirls. I said call boys and call girls. So if you were in an illicit business, even legally in like Nevada, and you worked at a brothel, you couldn't get a bank. And if you're a marijuana dispensary, the reason why those businesses became businesses dominated by leftists is because it required, and let me put it a different way, white people, white leftists, because most conservatives I know would not be in the weed growing business, even medicinal. And so in order to get in that business, you had to be cash rich, which most black folks were not. Also, it went against the religion of many black people who couldn't stomach the idea of dealing drugs in terms of making it a legal business. There's so many contradictions when you think about it, because blacks, we deal drugs easily on the street. But to make it a legit business, oh, no. Can't put your name on it in the light of day. Anyway, Operation Checkpoint caught a lot of people in its web. It was meant to shut down anybody dealing with Second Amendment stuff. But it turned out to be something very different. So the Department of Justice, and I'm reading this article from the Daily Caller, made clear that the Obama administration's underhanded attack on the gun industry using the banking system, better known as Operation Checkpoint, is over. In a strongly worded letter to the U.S. House Judiciary Committee Chairman Rob Goldblatt, a Republican out of Virginia, sent a letter to the Assistant Attorney General Stephen Boyd, assured the chairman that their operation has been terminated and that it will not be undertaken again. People don't realize what happened with this. There were legitimate businesses, even some people who got caught up in the web of it because people thought they were dealing in cash businesses, got their bank accounts, banks confiscated. I'll give you an example. There was a story where a guy who ran a convenience store, his receivables every week were roughly $9,800. Maybe it was daily. Roughly $9,800 to $9,900. So he'd make this deposit every day. Well, they thought he was doing it to keep under the $10,000 mark, because you can't. Any $10,000 mark gets reported to the IRS. But it just turned out that he knew his business, and his business was roughly 98. He had clerks deposit it. They confiscated his money as part of Operation Checkpoint. And it took this dude a long time to get his money back. He said he lost over $100,000, 10, 11 days of receipts, because they arbitrarily said, oh, he must be hiding money. He's depositing $9,800, or whatever. He's like, no, I run a legitimate business, if you want to call them cigarettes and beer. And I'm telling you, it was crazy. This was Operation Checkpoint, started in 2013. And it involved the DOJ, which is the Department of Justice, the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, FDIC. And what they wanted to do was they didn't want the banks to conduct business with companies that engaged in commerce that Obama viewed as undesirable. Talk about picking and choosing the winners and the losers. Barack Obama didn't see illegal gambling, on the streets, or illegal, drug dealing on the street, sex trafficking, etc. That was business he just completely overlooked, but he wanted to get the guns. So he categorized certain types of businesses being associated with what they called high risk activity. And this was issued in a banking guidance document that guided the activities of the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, the FDIC. So some of these businesses that were targeted were engaged in illegal or fraudulent activity, as I said, prostitution, gambling, things like that. Online gambling, Ponzi schemes, he called them. But also targeted in this operation were legal businesses that engaged in the lawful commerce like tobacco sales, coin dealers, ammunition sales, firearm sales. The targeting of lawful businesses is what caused such a big response on this, particularly in Congress. And in 2014, the U.S. House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform investigated the operation and issued a scathing report. 2016, the House passed H.R. 766, the Financial Institution Customer Protection Act of 2015, and they sought to eliminate Operation Checkpoint. Ted Cruz, Mike Lee introduced the companion legislation in the Senate declaring Operation Checkpoint an attack on Second Amendment rights. They were specifically targeting ammo and gun sales, and more specifically, let's all say it together, gun shows, right? So that's what we're talking about. Barack Obama and his minions so wanted to get rid of your guns, they would use anything necessary, including trying to make it appear as though these people were illegitimate in their business activities. You might make, I'll give you an example, you might make a gun holster or a series of paraphernalia that help people hide guns. There are bras that will hide guns, especially for big bosom women, and all kinds of things. Anything associated with guns was considered illegal. Anything associated with cigarettes theoretically could be considered illegal. So anything considered with liquor, you might make flask or whatever. If he didn't like your business, they just shut it down. That's not for him to decide. The market should determine what happens to your business, not Barack Obama. But that's what they would do. That's how they ran things. And a decision worthy of praise, folks. Boyd didn't mince words when describing the Obama-era policy. And the letter described Operation Checkpoint as, quote, a misguided initiative conducted during the last administration. And they made it clear that the new administration intends to, and I love this word, the wording, reestablish integrity. Reestablish the integrity of the Justice Department. See, because we have a Justice Department that lacked integrity. We had a Justice Department that was willing to run guns into Mexico in order to create enough violence in another country, a sovereign country, to get its people to flee to America in order to rationalize illegal immigration and potentially to take guns away from you. That's how scurrilous it was. And if that wasn't enough, it was willing that the Justice Department of Barack Obama was willing to meet with Hillary Clinton, her husband, on the tarmac and strategize on how to rule the world, for the Clintons to continue ruling the world. And I could go on. The Justice Department that wouldn't prosecute people menacing, or people trying to vote outside of voting precincts. The Justice Department that wouldn't prosecute people who were intimidating conservatives who wanted to get their 501c3 and 501c4. How much do I need to tell you? There was no integrity in this Justice Department, but the left, Loretta Lynch, they just let these people skate. Try to imagine, if you would, if Sessions did anything close to what either Eric Holder or Loretta Lynch would do. And get this, Eric Holder is threatening you right now, saying he wants to run for president. Good luck with that, Eric. I hope you do. This is a crazy world, folks. It says Boyd went on to write this. The department is committed to bringing enforcement actions only where warranted by the facts and the applicable law without regard to political preferences. And leaving no doubt about the current Justice Department's position, Boyd concluded, we reiterate that the department will not discourage the provision of financial services to lawful industries, including businesses engaged in firearm-related activities. So they knew what was up. And that's the sad part. We know, everybody in this thing knows exactly what the Obama administration was trying to do. And it took the bravery of a few people in Congress to finally get this thing to the attention that it needed. Short break. We'll be back.
He won't stop until he's the top-rated radio talk show host in America.
What kind of weird competitive freak are you?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.